So now we're going to do some practice problems for linear equations in slope-intercept form. The question says, given the equation y equals 4x minus 3, what is the slope? What is the y-intercept? All right, remember that we talked about the slope-intercept form of the equation is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. So if we look at this equation, it says y equals mx plus b. It's in the right form. So we should be able to see what the slope and the y-intercept are just by inspection. The slope is the coefficient in front of x, so the slope is 4. The y-intercept, this is telling you what the y-coordinate of the y-intercept is. This is asking you for the full y-intercept, so I'm going to be a little bit picky here and tell you have to write the 0 that indicates the x, and the y-coordinate is found actually in the equation. So the full y-intercept is 0, -3. Some teachers are okay with you just indicating the -3, but I am not. If the question asks you for the y-intercept, you need to express it as an ordered pair because it is a point on the graph, not just a number. All right, so let's see. Given this equation, y equals -2/5 x plus 6, what is the slope? Again, the slope is the coefficient in front of x, so the slope for this equation is -2/5. The y-intercept, well, you get the y-coordinate back here. Don't forget for the y-intercept, the x is 0, and you can see the y-coordinate is 6. All right, on number 3, given this equation, 2x minus 3y equals 12, again, we're finding the slope and the y-intercept. Well, now the problem is this does not say y equals mx plus b. It's not in slope-intercept form. So we're going to have to solve for y to get it that way. So we're starting with 2x minus 3y equals 12. We need to put the x term on the other side. So that would be subtract 2x from both sides. That will leave us with -3y equals -2x plus 12. And then we need to divide by this -3y, -3, to get the y isolated. So that leaves us with y equals. All right, this is a little tricky. Don't forget, a negative divided by a negative makes a positive. So this is going to be a positive 2/3 x. And then you have this 12 divided by -3 makes -4. And we can answer these questions now. What is the slope? Y equals mx plus b. The slope is m. The slope is 2/3. The y-intercept has a 0 for x, and you can see the y-coordinate right here is -4. On number 4, we have the same situation. 4x plus 7y equals 14 is not in y equals mx plus b. So we're going to isolate this y, starting with 4x plus 7y equals 14. We isolate y to put it in slope-intercept form. So subtract the 4x as the first step. Those cancel. We have 7y equals -4x plus 14. Divide by 7 to isolate that y. All three terms divide by 7. So y equals -4/7 x plus 2, because 14 divided by 7 is 2. Y equals mx plus b. So what's the m now? The m is -4/7. The y-intercept has a 0 for x, but you can see the y-coordinate right here is 2. All right, on number 5, we're going to graph using slope-intercept form. So let's answer the questions first. Is this in y equals mx plus b? Looks like it. Let's solve for y. We have an x term, we have a b term. So the slope is here in front of x, and obviously there's a negative there, but what's the coefficient? Don't forget, in algebra we don't have to write the 1. It's always implied to be there. So this is that invisible 1. So this is the slope of -1. The b is 4. That leads us to believe the y-intercept is 0, 4. A slope of -1 doesn't tell us rise and run. So you're going to have to convert this to a fraction. -1 is the same as -1 over 1, so that you can see the rise and the run. Anytime you have a whole number, we put it over 1 to make it into a fraction. So now we can graph. We always start with the y-intercept of 0, 4. So we're going to mark that out, 1, 2, 3, 4. That will be the y-intercept right there. This is a negative slope, so this line needs to go off downhill. The rise is 1, the run is 1. So we're going to count up 1 over 1. And you could do it either way. You could do it up this way or down this way. Either way. Up 1 over 1. That's going to put points like this, or you can go down like this. Either way, you end up with this line. Okay, we're going to graph this one using slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So the m is here in front of x. It's -2/3. The b is -4. That gives us a y-intercept of 0, -4. So that's where we start, at the y-intercept of 0, -4. We're going to put a point in there. This is a negative slope, so it needs to go off in the negative direction downhill. The rise is 2, and the run is 3. Yeah, the rise is 2 and the run is 3. So we're going to count up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. And either way, I'm probably going to go this way since I'm already pretty far down. I'm probably going to go like this. Up 2 over 3. And that will give me a point right here. And then again, up 2 over 3 will give me a point right here. And that's enough points to draw a line. Just like that. It would be nice if the line actually hit the point though, wouldn't it? That's a little bit better. Okay, we're just going to do some more on this page. We're going to graph using slope-intercept form. On number 7, the first thing I notice is it's not y equals mx plus b. It's x plus 3y equals -9. I need to isolate this y. You got room over here probably to do this. I don't know. It looks like there's white space at the bottom of the page too if you want to do this. So we're going to start with x plus 3y equals -9. The x term needs to go to the other side, so we're going to subtract x. That will give us 3y equals -x minus 9. And then we need to divide by 3 to isolate that y. So y equals. All right. If you're good with fractions, you'll know that this is the invisible 1 here, and this makes a fraction of -1/3. Always put the invisible 1 here to get your fraction coefficient. So this is a -1/3 x, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So the slope is -1/3, going downhill. The b is -3, which gives us a y-intercept of 0, -3. And now we can graph. So the y-intercept is 0, -3. That's going to be down here. And we're going to count the slope. Rise 1, run 3. Rise 1, run 3. Or rise down this way. Either way, you know the line has to go this way. So we're going to count up 1 and over 3. And that's going to put a point here. Up 1 and over 3 is going to put another point here. And that's enough points to make my line. Just like that. All right. On number 8, we have the same situation. This equation is not solved for y. -5x minus 4y equals -12. we need to isolate this y. So I'm going to find some white space right here. I'm going to write negative 5x minus 4y equals negative 12. To isolate the y, I need to put this x term on the other side, so I'm going to add 5x. That gives me negative 4y equals 5x minus 12. And then I'm going to divide by negative 4 to get that y by itself. So y equals, all right, 5 over negative 4 makes negative 5/4 x. And negative divided by negative here makes positive 3, 12 divided by 4. So m is negative 5/4, and b is 3, which gives us a y-intercept of 0, 3. So we can graph this using that information. So the y-intercept of 0, 3, 1, 2, 3 will be right there. This is a negative slope going downhill. The rise is 5, the run is 4. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do this twice here, though. I can do it once, and then I'll come back and go rise 5, run 4 this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Gives us another point right here, looks like. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then when we come back, I'm going to go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gives us another point right there. And then you can connect those points to make a line. All right, number 9, we're going to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. And remember, we write these equations in y equals mx plus b. The x and the y are already there. They're part of the equation. The only thing you have to fill in is the m and the b. So you've got to find the slope and the y-intercept, the y-coordinate for the y-intercept. So we're going to start with y equals. Okay, can we tell what the slope is? Let's draw our little triangle. What's the rise here? Looks like 4. And the run is 2. So rise over run is 4 over 2, which reduces to make 2. So y equals 2x. The x is part of the equation. You filled in the slope. The b is where this crosses the y-axis, and that will be right here. That looks like negative 4. Y equals 2x minus 4. And on number 10, find the equation of the line. We're going to do the same thing. Y equals mx plus b. You fill in the slope and the y-coordinate of the intercept. So y equals, what's the slope? Here we have a rise of 2 and a run of 3. And this is a negative slope because it's going downhill. So we're going to have a negative rise over run. So negative 2 over 3x, and the y-intercept is positive 2. Okay. So I think we got both of those. All right, here we got another big word problem. You're trying to raise money to buy a new cell phone. You already have $50 saved up, and you're working at a job where you make $10 per hour. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that expresses this relationship where x is the number of hours you work and y is the total amount you have earned. All right, we're going to write this in y equals mx plus b. So y is how much money I've earned. I already have 50 saved up. So after I figure out how much I can save by working, then I will add the 50 I already have. So I can save $10. I'm making $10 per hour. So x is the number of hours I work. So that will be $10 times how many hours I work, plus I already have 50 saved up. So y equals 10x plus 50. What is the slope here? Well, don't forget, y equals mx plus b. The slope is the coefficient in front of x, so the slope here is 10. What does the slope mean in the context of this problem? I don't know if I can write all this, but we can talk about it for a minute. When the slope is positive, you are adding money. If the slope was negative, we'd be subtracting money. But for every hour that you work, the line will increase, the slope, the amount of money you're increasing by $10. So you can write that in your own words there. What is the y-intercept? Y equals mx plus b. The y-intercept here is 50. The y-coordinate is 50. The whole intercept is 0, 50. What does that mean in the context of this problem? Well, remember, x is how many hours you worked. So if you worked no hours, you didn't work any more than you already have, you would have $50 saved up already. How much money would you have saved up after 8 hours of work? So to figure that out, you put the 8 here. So that would be y equals 10 times 8 plus 50. And that gives us 80 plus 50, which is what? 130. How much money would you have saved up after 16 hours of work? So y equals 10 times 16 plus 50. That gives us 160 plus 50 makes 210. How many hours do you have to work if the cost of the cell phone is $300? So we're making the total cost $300 here, so that would be replacing y. So 300 equals 10 times x plus 50. Then we solve for x. How do we solve for x here? We need to first subtract, oh, I only wrote 5. It's 50. First subtract that 50 from both sides. That makes 250 equals 10x, and then divide by 10 to isolate this x. So x equals 250 divided by 10 is 25. So you would have to work 25 hours.